Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us is the 2023 Dodge Durango RT. This has the Hemi Orange Plus package on it. It's finished off in black, and they have a starting MSRP right around $55,000. So we are going to start off today's review with what powers this Hemi model. Underneath the hood is the 5.7 liter Hemi V8. This is paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission, and it pumps out 360 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent to the rear wheels, propelling this 5,100-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds with a top speed of 120 miles an hour. Now, as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking right around 14 miles per gallon in the city and 22 out on the highway. Now, as we work our way to the exterior styling, you will notice that the front end of this Durango is completely functional. So we have the functional inlet, functional heat extraction vents. We have part of the orange for that Orange Plus package. You will see it to the right of the Dodge logo. And then the rest of the front end has functional inlets. So all of the grills and the sides there, very cool to see that. This also has sensors. The sensor in the middle is for the adaptive cruise. We have the LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. And then this brush trim piece surrounds the grille and goes into the headlight housings just to tie it in and make it look very, very nice. So I think it has a good front end to it, and the fact that it's all functional is pretty cool for an SUV that's not the top trim level. This is not the Hellcat, but it has a lot of the same characteristics. Now for the side, this gets a set of 20-inch wheels, finished off very similarly to that trim in the grille. You will see Hemi is blacked out just behind that, as well as the side mirrors. This has a sunroof. All of the roof racks are blacked out, as well as all the window trim. And there's some nice lines that run down the side. We have some crisp lines for the fender arches, as well as in the lower side skirt, and this prominent one right in the middle of the door. So for this 3-row SUV, it's stretched very nicely and everything flows very nicely as well. Now for the rear, we have the body colored spoiler with the brake light. We have the wiper blade, power liftgate, backup camera. This even has the LED taillights with the connector bar that runs right through the middle. There's all these sensors, the dual exhaust, and this can even tow right around 7,500 pounds. So this is a very capable family style vehicle, but you can also use it if you need to tow. But let's take a listen to this now, because we have the remote start. And it's not crazy loud, but it still sounds great nonetheless. We can use the key fob or the button near the backup camera to open up this power liftgate. And with the third row up, you can see there's a good amount of space. You can place some items here as needed. There's even some more storage up underneath the floor. So you'll see I have a few items down there at the moment, so you could fit some smaller things if you don't want them to roll around as much. There's also a bin on this driver's side. We have a 12-volt small hook too, and it is incredibly easy to fold down this third row. In a matter of seconds, if you have that seat positioned correctly, you can fold those flat and get a lot more space. You can even fold down the second row as needed, and then you can quickly pull these back up when you are ready to go. So it's that easy, and I love that they're not automatic. And the button on the side there will lower that liftgate from there. So super functional. This is a 7-seater, but super functional for that amount of space. Now for the door panel, you will see more orange along with the leather. Really cool trim piece just above that. This has the Harman Kardon sound system storage in the lower section of the door. And then that orange stitching makes its way to these leather and Alcantara seats, which have a beautiful design to them. Now to gain access to the third row, I can simply pull on that tab, do it again, or pull on this red tab here. And at 5'10", I can work my way into these back seats, where honestly, I have a good amount of space. There's an armrest and a cup holder, plenty of room for my feet, and about 1 inch above my head in between the Alcantara headliner. There's vents up top too, so that way you can get some climates going. And the windows are fairly large, so I don't feel claustrophobic. I could ride around more than just around town and be comfortable in that third row if I needed to be. And it is just as easy to flip these seats back up, where we have some storage pockets behind both front seats. There's air vents. These are even heated seats, as well as some auxiliaries. You will see 2 cup holders in the middle, and we even have the adjustable armrests, so you can be very comfortable in the second row. All of your climate adjustments here, like your temperature, like your fan speed, temperature, where you would like the air to go, are up in the headliner there. So definitely another good place to be for this family hauler. Now the driver door panel is just like the rear. However, there's all the window adjustments. You have your side mirror adjustments, speaker, memory seats, even more storage space in the lower section of the door. And then we have some more lateral support for these front seats, which are automatic. They are heated and ventilated too, which is a nice plus. Super low vehicle, so this is easy to enter and exit. And then let's fire this up again. We can go over the rest of the info for this gauge cluster screen. So you'll see on the left side is the tach, right side is the fuel level and the engine temperature. The miles per hour is right in the middle. And then you can go through more of this info using these arrows here, where currently we are on some vitals. So you can go through your tire pressure and the rest of these, just depending on what you need to see and keep an eye on. We can go down into RT, where this will provide you with a lot of performance information. So you can look at your 0 to 60, you have all these timers, you can look at your brake distancing, as well as G-force meter. You have a lot of cool tabs if you want to do some spirited driving in this Durango. Then when you're ready, you can monitor your adaptive cruise, your fuel economy, you have your trip information, as well as music and messages. And then you can even adjust the screen setup. So in the upper left is the compass, upper right is the outside temperature. You can change those as needed, and you can go through some of these other settings just to get it dialed in the way that you would like to. Now underneath that on the left side, you'll see Bluetooth and voice commands. We have cruise and adaptive cruise distance pacing on that right side. Perforated and solid leather for the steering wheel with orange stitching. We even have the paddle shifters with volume and tuning. So those controls are just underneath. The paddles are just the upper section. So it's nice that you still have that usability. Now on this left side, we have the manual parking brake there, along with a dimmer switch for the gauges, all of the headlight adjustments. You will see more stitching surrounding the entire infotainment system, where on the home screen, you can currently see navigation along with music. You can quickly get into your media, go into the climate adjustments as needed. So you can go through the heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats, fan speed, and all of that. Pull up the nav in full screen. When you have your phone paired, you can quickly get into that. And then under vehicle, you can go through this general information just to get everything set up the way that you would like to. Under controls, you can fold the third headrest and then pull up the backup camera. And if we launch the performance tab, now you can go through all of this in a larger screen than the gauge cluster there, and quickly monitor all of this as needed. What's also cool, you have some apps over on this right side, but you can also have shortcuts here to some of this info, so you can quickly get into that. So it doesn't matter what screen you're on, you always have those up top, as well as all of the physical buttons down below. So you can quickly get through a lot of what I just showed. There's power and volume for the radio, as well as tuning, and then everything else in the middle here. It's labeled very nicely, large buttons, so you're not going to get confused. Now underneath that, you will also see a row of toggles. We have sport mode along with eco mode. There's the hazards, traction control, as well as the lane keeping assist. And then we have the parking sensors, which you can also turn on and off. There's a wireless charger just underneath that, along with a few auxiliaries, so you can charge even more electronics. You'll notice more of that trim piece that was on the door panel and Alcantara and stitching that surrounds both sides. 2 cup holders are in the middle with an ambient lighting strip, a little bit of storage. You could place the key fob or something small like that. And then for the shifter, by putting it into reverse, you will see that massive backup camera. You also have the manual setting, so you can shift using that, or the paddles themselves. There's actually 2 compartments in the center armrest. So the upper one is very small. You could place your phone or some smaller flat items like that. And then you have the rest of the center compartment for any info that you'd like to place there. And then we have the glove box where you can fit even more info, and we have more of that Alcantara and that trim piece. And then visibility from the driver's seat is super easy to see in both directions. So it's very open feeling. We have the adjustment for the sunshade as well as the sunroof adjustments. There's some garage door buttons up top, dome lights, and then even a sunglass holder, which is super convenient to have. And from second gear, here we go. Definitely has a good V8 tone to it. Paddles seem to be pretty responsive. It's nice that they are there, so you can use those in those types of driving situations. And that wasn't even in sport mode either. So let's do that one more time. Yep, just a little bit more throttle input. Sounds exactly the same there. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for this $60,000 Durango. And I like it. I think all of the materials are extremely nice. It doesn't feel like a cheap interior by any means. We even have leather on the entire dash. I mean, it's a solid place to be, especially for the price point compared to some of the other competitors. If you want something a little bit more performance focused, we have that 5.7 liter Hemi V8 with some tuning capabilities. So if you want to do that afterwards, you have a lot more options in those regards with performance versus some other brands that are just going to be a normal 3-row type of vehicle. And I think it's a cool option. I'm digging the orange now that I've put a few more miles on it, but it's definitely an interesting take. I wonder if they have some different colors that you could do for this Durango. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this family style SUV, the 2023 Dodge Durango RT Hemi with the Orange Plus package. Once again, huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this for me today. Check out their website. That link is down in the description. And if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.